Are you thinking about relocating to Portland from California? Well, lots of people continue to move to Portland from Cali, but don't even consider packing your bags until you watch this video. Hey there, I'm Ben, a local realtor here in the Portland Metro and Oregon wine country. And on this channel, I help people just like you learn everything they need before relocating, whether you're moving from across town or across the country. We touch on housing and the market for sure, but we also talk about lifestyle and highlight some of the best places and experiences that make this such a great place to live. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest videos about life here in Portland. Today, we're breaking down the real differences between life in California and the Portland area so you can see exactly what the move would look like. A lot of this is going to apply to California as a whole, but just a quick note, there are a number of items that apply more to some of the larger metro areas like LA, San Francisco, and San Diego. Okay, let's talk about the first thing, maybe the most obvious thing, and one of the main reasons people move up from California here to the Portland metro area, and that is that housing affordability is drastically different than a lot of the major markets in California. Hands down, this is the number one thing California families tell me they're excited about is housing affordability, which is definitely ironic as we have a lot of discussion here in the Portland metro area about the need for more affordable housing. So this is a perfect example of context and some of this being relative to what you're used to. But the numbers do back this up big time when looking at the Portland Metro versus many of the major Cali markets. Right now, the median home price in the Portland Metro sits right around $525,000. Compare that to Los Angeles, where you're looking at, $900,000 to even closer to $1 million for the Metro median. San Francisco and the Bay Area are a whopping $1.7 million, and San Diego is sitting right about $950,000. So a huge difference in the median housing price. So just to kind of give you an idea what that looks like, a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a yard and a garage that might run you, $1.2 million or so in the LA area, or close to even 1.8 in the Bay Area, often lands right in the $550,000 to $650,000 range right here in many neighborhoods. And that's both resale and some new construction options. If you decide to move up here, you'll either see a huge relief in your monthly mortgage payment, or you'll be able to trade that California equity for something top tier instead of middle of the road. And here's an additional long-term win. Oregon's Measure 5 property tax cap is a bit more restrictive than California's Prop 13 system. The biggest difference, there's no automatic reassessment to market value upon resale of a home, so you can save lots of money on property taxes. Speaking of taxes, let's talk about taxes more in general here. Taxes are one of those topics that can make people's eyes glaze over, but stick with me because this is one area that's a real money saver. In California, you get hit on both ends, that top income tax rate of 13% or more, plus sales tax that can push to between 8 and 10% or more depending on where you live. Here in Oregon, you have 0%, that's right, 0% sales tax. And that means everything from your groceries to your clothing to that new furniture for your new home or even cars. So it can save you a ton of money from your everyday purchases. Your income tax might feel a little higher in some middle tax brackets because Oregon's brackets kick in a little sooner, but when you run the full picture, especially with big purchases like vehicles or furniture for your new Portland home, most of my California clients come out ahead or at least break even. In a move to Portland, you're gonna trade that famous California sunshine for 4 real seasons. And for a lot of people, it ends up being actually a welcome change. Portland winters can definitely be wet and gray. Think 40 to 50 degrees with rain for a good chunk of December through February. So yes, you'll want a solid rain jacket and maybe some indoor hobbies planned for those darker months. But those summers here, they're absolutely gorgeous. Dry, 75 to 85 degrees, perfect for hiking the Columbia Gorge or biking local trails without melting in that triple-digit heat that you're used to in LA or San Diego. That winter rain is also what makes it so lush and green here and brings snow to the mountains for your winter sports. Most of my California clients say the first winter does take a little adjustment, stock up on that vitamin D, and plan a quick sunny getaway if you need it, but by the second year, they're loving having actual seasons instead of endless summers or that famous Bay Area fog. It's a different rhythm, but one that a lot of people end up really appreciating more than they expected. Beyond just housing and taxes, the overall cost of living in the Portland Metro is noticeably lower than what you're used to in California. Recent cost of living indexes show California running about 26% more expensive than Oregon when you look at the full picture. Groceries are roughly 20% higher back in California. Restaurants and transportation add another 12 to 14%. And of course, housing is the biggest chunk at 35% or more expensive. Here, your dollar simply stretches further once you're settled in. That means more room in the budget for weekend trips to the coast or the mountains, dining at those amazing Portland food carts, or just breathing a little easier at the end of the month. It's one of those quiet wins that adds up fast. Traffic is something every California driver knows all too well. Hours on the freeways just to get across town in LA or San Diego. Portland definitely has its rush hour backups on I-5 or 205, especially during commute times, but the city is far more compact and manageable overall. The max light rail system, all those bike lanes, and genuinely walkable neighborhoods mean a lot of people here cut their drive time dramatically or avoid it altogether by using alternate transportation. Many of my clients from LA say they actually enjoy their commute for the first time in years because it's shorter and there are real alternatives to sitting in gridlock. California life can feel very car dependent and spread out. Portland is just the opposite. Food cart pods on every corner, neighborhood festivals almost every weekend, and that famous Keep Portland Weird energy everywhere you go. It still feels like a real city with great restaurants, art, and culture, but the pace is a little more relaxed and community focused. It's a vibe that many California transplants say feels refreshing after the hustle back home. Politically, both California and Oregon lean strongly progressive, so the broad political outlook is very similar. Portland has a reputation for very progressive, Keep Portland Weird culture with strong community focus on issues like sustainability, housing, and social services. You'll see that reflected in local policies, things like strong environmental rules, emphasis on public transit, and active discussions around affordability and homelessness that are very much in the news right now. At the same time, many transplants tell me the vibe here feels more neighborhood oriented and a touch more relaxed than the bigger city energy in LA or the Bay Area. Local elections and city council conversations in Portland often center on practical issues like transportation, housing development, and public safety, topics that are top of mind for a lot of residents regardless of background. Overall, the cultural and political shift is usually pretty smooth for most California families because the broad values line up pretty closely. It's more of a difference in pace and local flavor than a complete change in direction. If outdoor access is important to you, this is one area where the Portland Metro really shines, and a lot of California families are pleasantly surprised by how easy it is to get into nature here. Portland currently ranks as the #3 best city in America for outdoor activities, according to Nisha's 2026 rankings. Right in the city, you have Forest Park, one of the largest urban forests in the country with over 70 miles of trails, plus wildlife and incredible views. Drive 30 to 45 minutes east and you're in the Columbia River Gorge with its famous waterfalls like Multnomah Falls, hiking trails, and rock climbing spots. Head an hour southeast and you've got Mount Hood for skiing or summer hiking. The Oregon coast is about 90 minutes to the west, which is dramatically different from many California beaches because it's wilder and more rugged, less crowded, and has all those rugged cliffs, but it's still an excellent spot for surfing, fishing, dune buggies, or just a relaxing day at the beach. So there's plenty of opportunity to get out and explore in lots of different ways and different atmospheres to do that. Many of my clients coming from LA or San Diego tell me they love that the nature here feels more accessible. You're not fighting insane traffic just to get a hike in. Yes, it rains more, but you learn to embrace the green landscape that it creates, and the trails stay lush year-round. It's the kind of outdoor lifestyle that a lot of California transplants say they dreamed about, but couldn't quite reach back home because everything felt so far away or crowded. The job market is always a big question when people are thinking about relocating. California, especially the Bay Area and LA, offers some of the highest salaries in tech, entertainment, and creative fields. That's a real advantage if you're in those industries. Here in the Portland metro area, the economy is more diversified with strong anchors in athletic apparel, companies like Nike and Columbia Sportswear, semiconductors like Intel and Lam Research, healthcare, and creative and tech startups. As of early 2026, the Portland region has faced some job contraction similar to other West Coast metros, but sectors like healthcare and construction continue to add positions, and tech roles with experience are holding steady. Unemployment in Oregon has tracked close or slightly below California's recent 5.3% rate. What many of my California clients appreciate most is the work-life balance. Because housing and overall living costs are lower here, your paycheck goes further, meaning you don't have to chase quite as aggressively just to cover the mortgage and the basics. A lot of transplants say they actually feel less stressed about work, even if the top end salaries aren't quite as high as Silicon Valley. I always encourage people to look at the full picture: salary, overall cost of living, commute time, and overall quality of life. For many families, Portland ends up feeling like a net win for sure. Okay, let's take a quick look at natural disasters. Natural disaster risks are something a lot of people research before moving. California has a long history of earthquakes, major wildfires, and the highest number of federally declared disasters in the country. Wildfire smoke season can be intense in many parts of the state, and earthquake preparedness is part of everyday life in LA and the Bay Area. Portland Metro definitely has its own realities here. We do get wildfire smoke drifting in during bad summer seasons, though 2025 was relatively mild. We also have occasional river flooding risks, especially along the Columbia. The big long-term concern that scientists talk about is a potential major earthquake and tsunami off the coast that could affect the entire Pacific Northwest. Experts put the chance of a significant 7.1 plus event in the next 50 years around 37%. Most of my California clients say that after looking at the full picture, the overall risk profile here feels pretty manageable. Oregon also has strong building codes and preparedness efforts underway. I always recommend clients review the latest emergency guides and consider things like earthquake insurance or a basic home preparedness kit, the same steps that they're already doing back in California. It's not zero risk anywhere on the West Coast, but it's a different mix of concerns here. Okay, here's one that most California movers don't really look into or realize until they sit down with an attorney or start thinking about long-term planning: the difference in family law, especially how property gets divided in a divorce situation. California is what's called a community property state. That means almost everything acquired during the marriage, housing, retirement accounts, vehicles, even debts, is generally considered owned 50-50 by both spouses. Courts aim for a strict equal split unless you have a prenup or postnup that says otherwise. Oregon, on the other hand, follows equitable distribution. The court divides marital property in a way that's fair and just under all circumstances. It's not automatically a 50-50 split. Judges look at factors like length of marriage, each person's contributions, including as a homemaker, earning capacity, health, and the needs of any children. A 50-50 division is very common, but the judge has much more flexibility to make it equitable rather than equal. This is a subtle but real difference that can matter for estate planning, asset protection, or if life circumstances change down the road. Many of my California clients appreciate knowing this upfront so they can talk with the right professionals early. I always connect relocating families with a trusted local family law attorney if they want to dive deeper. It's one of those behind-the-scenes details that makes the move feel more prepared and less stressful. Well, this may be important for some and not as much for others. Let's look at some of the differences in gun laws. California currently has the strongest gun laws in the entire United States, according to both Everytown for Gun Safety and the Giffords Law Center rankings. Regulations include universal background checks on every sale, ammunition background checks, assault weapon regulations, and new safe storage requirements that went into effect this year. Oregon also has strong gun safety laws with universal background checks required here too, just like in California. Recent attempts to add a permit to purchase system and a 10-round magazine limit are still tied up in court, and while it's possible these new regulations will be thrown out, current plans push these changes out to 2028 at the earliest. On concealed carry specifically, both states require a permit to carry a handgun concealed in public. California operates under a shall issue system, but counties still set their own processes, training requirements, and restrictions on where you can carry. In Oregon, you apply for a concealed handgun license through your county sheriff's office. It's generally a shall issue process once you meet the requirements, which are you must be at least 21, demonstrate handgun competence through training or experience, and pass the background check. Oregon CHLs are valid statewide, but local governments gained new authority in 2025 to restrict concealed carry in certain public buildings if they post clear signs. Oregon does not honor out-of-state permits, and California does not honor Oregon's. Many of my California clients notice that Oregon's framework feels a little less layered on certain permitting and ammunition rules right now, but the overall direction is still very safety focused. I always tell people this is one of those areas worth reviewing with a local expert after you arrive so you understand exactly how things work in your new neighborhood. Education is a top priority for many relocating families, so let's talk about how it compares between California and the Portland metro. At a statewide level, California tends to rank higher overall in many 2026 National Public School Performance Rankings, while Oregon sits closer to the middle of the pack. However, the Portland metro has several standout school districts that rank among the very best in Oregon and deliver strong results, often competitive with top districts anywhere. Lake Oswego School District is consistently ranked the #1 school district in the entire state. Beaverton School District is also highly regarded and is home to the International School of Beaverton, which has been ranked the #1 public high school in Oregon, plus multiple elementary schools that regularly land in the state's top 10. Westland, Wilsonville, and Tigard Tualatin schools are solid as well, offering strong academics in a suburban setting with a good graduation rates and programs. Many California families I help are pleasantly surprised by the quality and options available in these western suburbs. The schools often feel less crowded, more neighborhood focused, and offer excellent programs in academics, arts, and STEM. As always, I recommend touring specific schools in the neighborhoods you're considering so you can see exactly what fits best with your family's needs. Healthcare access and quality are another big consideration. In the latest America's Health Rankings 2025 report, Oregon came in 19th overall in the nation, while California ranked 24th. Oregon shows particular strengths in the number of mental health providers and lower rates of people dealing with multiple chronic conditions. California does have excellent specialists and major medical centers in LA and the Bay Area, but some families mention longer wait times for primary care. Here in the Portland metro, we have strong hospital systems like OHSU, Providence, and Legacy, plus good access in the suburbs. Many of my California clients say they've found comparable or even smoother day-to-day healthcare experiences once they've settled, especially for routine daily care and family needs. It's always smart to check your network coverage with your insurance before the move, but overall the options here support a healthy family lifestyle very well. When it comes to day-to-day family life, many California transplants say the Portland metro just feels a little more relaxed and balanced. Recent 2026 studies rank Portland in the top 20 to 25 best US cities for raising a family, highlighting good access to parks, family activities, and a strong sense of community. With lower overall housing costs and no sales tax, families often find they have more room in the budget for weekend adventures, sports, or just spending time together instead of stretching every dollar. Neighborhoods here are generally walkable or bikeable to parks, food carts, and playgrounds, which feels very different from car-dependent sprawl in parts of LA or San Diego. The vibe is still very family-friendly. Weekend farmers markets, community events, and easy nature access give kids a great mix of city and outdoor experiences. A lot of the families I help move here tell me they finally feel like they can slow down a bit and actually enjoy raising their kids instead of the constant rush. So there you have it, the real honest differences between life in California and the Portland metro. It's not perfect anywhere, but for most families, the combination of better housing affordability, no sales tax, and that more relaxed lifestyle is exactly what they've been hoping for. If you're thinking about making the move, whether it's next month or next year, reach out anytime. You can either fill out the contact form below or just give me a call. I've helped many California families relocate to the Portland area, and I'd love to help you too. Drop a comment below and let me know if you're coming from LA, San Francisco, San Diego, or somewhere else in the state. I'd love to hear what you're most curious about or what you want me to cover next on the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video where we continue to explore the Portland market, neighborhoods, and lifestyle. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.